Thanks for choosing us. Now, imagine banning your 4-year-old child for misplacing an item. Well, can you bring yourself to do this? Well, that's the case of a 4-year-old girl in Cerebrum, and who has the lower part of her body bent by her own mother for allegedly misplacing an 8-cedi sandal. Well, according to reports, the mother boiled water and dipped her baby in it. The incident is said to have happened on Monday, August 1, at Ofurikrom in the town of Wassa Amenfi West municipality of the Western region. Disturbing visuals there. Well, Assembly member for the area, Azuri Suleiman, spoke to Samuel Kojobrace about the incident on Joy News Prime.
Then occurred in a certain village called Ofurikrom, which is within Wassa and West Municipal Assembly in the Western region. Yes, a mother of 4, according to community members, accused the second born of having misplaced a sandal that he bought for her. I think in the course, the woman decided to punish the girl, and all the punishment was to boil hot water, keep this little girl on the hot water. In the process, I think the small girl fell off the container, the water poured on her legs, the buttocks, and every part that was closer got bent. So this is what happened. In fact, the incident was reported to Samraboy police station, which is the nearest police station. The police took statement from the lady, but considering the degree of damage that had caused the little girl, the police recommended that the girl be taken to a hospital first, after which they will continue with their investigation. It was when this girl was sent to the hospital that I think they spent a night over there. The following day, the doctors decided that this matter could only better handled at Okonkwo Hospital. And so she was referred to Okonkwo Teaching Hospital. Yes, after this referral, this woman picked the little girl, ran back to the village, went into hiding with the little girl. So it was an informant who made us aware that the woman and child are still at the village. And that led to this expose. So that is what I know about it.
Well, per our sources, the woman says the little girl suffered some injuries and then she wanted to heal that. I mean, the lower part had some infection. So she boiled water to heal it. And that's where, unfortunately, this young lady fell into it. Why shouldn't we believe the mother of a baby, but rather believe what you're telling us?
This cannot be absolutely correct because, first of all, the degree of hotness of the water, which has led to the bend of even the legs, was something that nobody could sit on it for any treatment. Even if it was a sore, the local treatment we give to people who have sore. I don't think the water will boil to that degree that would lead to even burning. You understand me? And again, the incident occurred in the presence of other people. So they are testifying that what the woman is saying is not absolutely correct. According to the lady, even when I interviewed her, that's what she said. She said the girl has been getting this sore, under sore, and when it happens, that is that treatment. And water that has boiled to that degree, I asked whether she tried the water. She said no. So water that you could not use your hand to touch, could that water be used to treat a 3.5-year-old girl?
Is this baby her own daughter?
Her biological daughter, the second born. That is her second born. But you know, the information I gathered was that the eldermost one also equally suffered some punishment like that. Very barbaric. I think the boy, I don't know what happened actually, but I think there was a time this woman wanted to punish the firstborn. She picked up an empty can, you know, this tomato can, the big one. She used it to hit the head of this young boy until the whole can got spoiled. So a person who has been doing this cannot...
So what's the police doing about this case as we speak?
Yes, at the moment, because of the nature of the situation, you know, this little girl is not of her own. And the sore and, you know, the weight is going, undergoing pain. It is difficult to take this little girl out of the mother. Okay. So what we have all decided is that we will all collectively treat this little girl, after which the law will take its course. Okay.
Well, the Ghana Immigration Service has retained the travel documents and restricted the movement of 30 members of the Fulani ethnic group who were part of the Ghanaian pilgrims arriving from Mecca. The document reportedly seized by officials in Tamale in an exercise at the Tamale International Airport. Some of the individuals who spoke to Joy News said the officers approached them and demanded their passports without explanation. Well, according to leadership of the Fulani community, the service has since declined several appeals to release the documents while refusing to give a reason for their action. Speaking at a ceremony in Wale Wale, the General Secretary of Tabital, Puluka Musa Bari, called on the President and the Vice President as well as his wife to intervene. Elias Utanko reports.
The General Secretary was speaking at a ceremony held in Wale Wale to open a new cattle kraal by the Municipal Assembly. It was attended by the Regional Minister, the Member of Parliament and other notable personalities in the Vice President's hometown. Also, the leadership and members of the Fulani community were present at the commissioning of the cattle market. In his address, the General Secretary, Alhaji Musa Bari, spoke against what he called the harassment and deliberate exclusion of Fulanis in Ghana. He says the Fulani leadership is giving serious attention to the recent confiscation by the Ghana Immigration Service of the travel documents belonging to some of its members who took part in this year's Hajj pilgrimage.
About the retrieval of our men and our fathers and women that go on pilgrimage and came back and their transport are seized at Tamale. This is a very serious issue. We have to take it up. If you are able to give the person a travel document, which means you have satisfied with him before giving him the document, except he commits a crime, that is what the law says. But he went for prayers and came back and you seize the passport. We need a justification about that.
He also condemned what he said are deliberate efforts to tag all Fulanis as non-Ghanaians and exclude them from national exercises such as the Ghana card registration. He insisted Fulanis have been in Ghana way back prior to the arrival of Western colonialists.
There is something that is in the air that is very disturbing. Those who decide to ignore the lessons of history or forget them or deliberately go against history, because history tells us that the Fulanis existed in this land even long before the colonial masters set their foot here. Allahu Akbar. I don't see why they will tell us that we are not registering in the ongoing identification registration. We knew we have the foreign Fulanis, but I will say it here and again, we have Ghanaian Fulanis, just like the second lady. So it's time we go back to history and identify some of us who don't have anywhere to go, but we are Fulanis and we are Ghanaians. That is for sure.
Alhaji Musa Bari also repeated his demand for justice for the mob attacks that led to the death of 9 Fulanis in the Yendi and Mamprugu Mwaduri districts.
On the 30th April 2022 in Zagoli, in the Yendi district, where a Fulani community was attacked, 8 souls were lost. Allahu Akbar. We are still demanding for justice. We have 2 cabinet ministers here. I think the vice, with his wisdom, visited the site and promised us that justice will prevail. We are still waiting for the justice.
He called on the Vice President, Dr. Baumia, and his wife to ensure the protection of the rights of legitimate Fulanis in Ghana. In response, the Regional Minister Yidana Zakari called for calm while denouncing the notion that Fulanis are not legitimate members of the Ghanaian society and promising to follow up on the issue of the passport seizures by the Immigration Service.
We have Fulanis in this country more than 300 years today, before the coming into force of the 1992 Constitution. It is not today that we will say that they are not Ghanaians. They are Ghanaians. You raised an issue about passport being seized at the Tamale airport. We will take that up. We will talk to the immigration people and find out what would have necessitated that. Because I want to believe that several other Fulanis went to Hajj this year, and when they came, I believe they didn't collect their passports at the airport. So I will find out and give you feedback. We will work at it.
The Member of Parliament for Wale Wale, Hajia Lariba Abudu, on her part, rejected and disapproved the assertion that Fulanis are being discriminated against. She said members of the Fulani community have always been involved and part of the Ghanaian society.
I'm assuring them that one day their daughter will be the first lady of the Republic of Ghana.
Thank you.
And who is a Walwali person. That alone is enough for them to join us. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government doesn't discriminate. We have included all Fulanis in whatever we are doing, especially me in Walwali here. Everything that I'm going to do, Fulanis, all the minority tribes are included. I did the Widow Summit, they were included. I did the Salah, they were included. Everything that we do, we include them. They should continue to pray for us that one day we will also be in the helm of affairs.
From Wale Wale, Ilyasu Tanko reporting for Joy News.
Well, President Akufo-Addo says his government is committed to ensuring the northern borders of the country are strengthened and secured against acts of terrorism and insurgents. He spoke at the graduation parade for the regular intake 61 of the Ghana Armed Forces at Teshi.
Government is delivering on its promise to reconstruct and upgrade the Ghana Military Academy to bring it at par with other reputable military academies across the world. As of today, I'm pleased to say that the first phase of the construction works of the Military Academy is almost complete. As part of efforts to enhance operational capability, combat efficiency, and logistic capacity of the armed forces, measures have been put in place in furtherance of restructuring and retooling. We are determined to equip our armed forces to deal with the contemporary threats in the region, as well as other internal security challenges, and contain security threats from violent extremist and terrorist groups along our northern borders. To this end, additional bases, specialized units, and brigades have been created with the acquisition of requisite equipment to enhance operations, particularly along our northern frontiers. As you are aware, this expansion has already seen the creation and establishment of the Army Special Operations Brigade, Armored Brigade, Signal Brigade, and 2 mechanized battalions, which are deployed in the Upper West and Upper East regions. The construction and equipping of 15 forward operating bases, FOBs, across our northern frontiers for the Armed Forces for the Northern Border Project are on track. These FOBs include FOB Dollar Power, FOB Hamile, FOB Tumu, FOB Navrongo, FOB Boko, FOB Nalerigo, FOB Bunkrugu, FOB Saboba, FOB Bimbela, FOB Damango, FOB Bole, FOB Jirapa, Forward Logistical Base at Wa, Forward Logistical Base at Bogatanga, and main logistics base at Tamale. A number of combat vehicles, equipment and weaponry, comprising about 163 armored personnel carriers and other combat vehicles, trucks and general vehicles, surveillance and communication equipment, including optical and critical mass of night vision equipment, as well as weapons, ammunitions, and body armor, have been acquired to enhance intelligence acquisition, offer better protection, improve mobility and firepower for troops on internal security operations, including those deployed to our northern frontiers, as well as international peace support operations.
Well, hundreds of party faithfuls of the new Patriotic Party, mainly grassroots or foot soldiers, have hit the streets of Kumasi in support of Trades Minister Alan Kojo Tremantin, who has been billed for a health walk held in support to his bid to lead the party. They said the march is aimed at strengthening their bones and fortifying themselves to break the 8. Well, Love FM's Emmanuel Bright-Kweku has been speaking to some of the party faithfuls. He joins us on the ground live. Bright, tell us what you can report.
All right, so firstly, we just came back from the park, the exercise, the health walk, which was held through the principal streets of Kumasi. We started from the Bekwai runabout through to Bantama. You know, Bantama is one of the powerhouse or the voting powerhouses of the new Patriotic Party in the Ashanti region. So we moved through those streets, and then finally we came to the Heroes Park of the Barbara Sports Stadium, where some of the party stalwarts, including the former MP, Member of Parliament for Boise, addressing these party faithfuls, so the pro-Alan volunteers. And I can report that quite a number of people thronged the streets. People were amazed at what they saw. A lot of people joined in as we were moving across the streets. They joined the crowds, and they all moved to the Barbara Sports Stadium. But one of the key things they made mention of is the fact that they had already been warned not to stage this health walk. But they are saying that it is just a health walk to fortify themselves, as you rightly said, or strengthen their bones to break the 8th agenda in the next general elections. So this has been the situation in the Ashanti region. Some of them actually are saying that the fact that Alan Kojo Tremantin is a man of industrialization, that is why they are rallying their support or they are going behind him. So some also are calling him as a man who is gentle. And then you already know, or perhaps you may know, that the NPP, most as we've realized across the years, it goes by tradition. During the Domo time through to Edubuahe time up to this stage, it has been a tradition. So that is what some of them have been telling. They've been saying that this is the time for Alan Tremantin to be the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party. So they are just rallying for him. I spoke with Grace Ashi. You know Grace Ashi, she has been singing for the party for quite a while now. She says she is rallying, she's just following tradition. So it's the time for Alan. Alan moved aside for President Akufo-Addo to take his turn at the presidency. So now it's the time for Alan to be the president, or let me say the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party. So this is what the people are just calling. They are just saying that Alan it's time for him to put aside the government stuff and then come and be on the ground and then do his stuff or campaign for his presidency or flag bearership. So this is the situation in the Ashanti region.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel Bright-Kweku, the Love FM reporter. Now, we will be following closely the MPP internal elections because we are your election headquarters. Now, it's been exactly a year since violent flood washed off 8 major roads in the Upper West region, cutting off 8 out of 11 municipal and districts of the regional capital. While several road users were stranded, residents of farming communities had their farms destroyed and houses collapsed. Joy News' Upper West regional correspondent Rafik Salam returned to the affected communities and reports that the people are still living in poverty after their farms, houses and roads were destroyed by the flash floods.
Up to Junerian Yendauma has been living in this Vogoni community since the demise of her husband. She's been living in this mud brick roof leaking house for 13 years until the disaster struck last year.
Those that were affected, some of them have people behind. Let me say they have children that could also help them to get up a structure for them. But this, looking at this particular woman, she has no child, she has no husband. The husband passed away since long, and then she has nobody to get a place for her. That is why we chose her.
Her entire roof was ripped apart and the building caved in. She recalled what happened.
I
was sleeping in the room when I heard loud noise from the fall of a tree on my roof. I know it was as a result of the windstorm. I was lucky because the roof collapsed at a site that I was not lying.
Community members saw her plight and came to her rescue. She was moved to this temporary structure whilst efforts were made to get her a permanent place, which is now complete.
Benevolent individuals, including the Member of Parliament for Nadolu-Kaleu, the Honorable Anthony Menkarasuma, he was able to support us, and now we have been able to put up.
Even former President John Mahama came to her aid.
Absolutely. His former president also gave out an amount of money to add up to support construct a room for the old lady, and now the room is complete. We are planning to release the room officially to her on the 13th of this month, August, which is exactly 1 year of the event of the flood.
Though Yandoma is yet to step foot on her new house built for her, she's grateful to the people who came to her aid.
I can now sleep without any fears or nightmares because I have a better house. I thank all those people who supported me to get the house.
When disaster struck, the people who are hardest hit are the poorest. In this Nadolu-Kaleu district, many communities here are not well built and the people are not well off. Majority of the people living in this community are farmers. Their farms got submerged by the violent floods, and there are fears they could be farming.
Even some of my people are not able to farm this year because what they farm is what they sell to reinvest into the farm. They are not able to get anything and no support for them. So most of them cannot farm. So in that case, even hand to mouth, 2 square meals a day is a problem to most of them. I have been seeing it with my naked eyes.
Roads in the affected communities were washed away, power lines down, and mobile signals in some of the areas were unavailable, thereby making delivery of relief items difficult.
Disaster when they strike, mostly it is just like insurance. You cannot bring the person back to normal. What you can do is to manage the situation for the person to live out back to normal again. However, what we did was within means, and what we did was actually okay for the system that was put in place. We could not have honestly satisfied everybody in terms of the impact of the disaster. However, we managed the system, and majority of the people that were affected were honestly given something, either food, non-food, or cash element as of last year.
There was an allegation of extortion of money by one of your coordinators. How far have you done with that, deal with that issue?
Yes, it came to my notice, and I immediately informed the chairman of the disaster committee, who is the regional minister. Immediately he directed we so formed a disciplinary committee comprising my own self, the regional police commander, the 10 mechanized battalion commander, the BNI commander, and that national security. So we did that, and a report was sent, and that officer currently is under interdiction. Currently, as we speak, he no longer be with us until the final decision is taken by the council of the board of council of Nadmo.
8 out of 11 municipal and districts in the region had their major roads cut off from the regional capital. Many were stranded and cost of transportation soared.
Yes, there has been massive destruction, but the affected roads are going to be fixed in a record time.
Government allocated 15 million Ghana cedis to 4 contractors led by PNW Ghanem to fix the 8 major roads that were destroyed by the floods. Their first major assignment was to temporarily fix the roads for use by road users, who they did within 2 weeks. The next was for the contractors to come back to site after the rainy season for a permanent fix of the road. The rains are here again, and there are already signs on the roads being slowly washed away. It appears there's now laxity on the part of the government to permanently fix the roads. Should urgent actions not taken, there could be an encore of last year's disaster.
Look at the edges of the road. It's topping off. So if there should be heavy rain today, we'll go back to square zero because they have not done anything. They just filled the road and nothing else again.
If government can come to our aid immediately, either than that, very soon, we have started recording heavy rains again. If anything happens, we'll be hot.
Government is aware of its responsibility and is working to deliver it.
The work that was done, it is our prayer that that should not happen. But government is not relaxing on what we promise our people. Certainly those portions will be worked on. Like I've always indicated, when it comes to the road infrastructure, it is not an easy task. It is always a process. First, we need to take an inventory of what is needed. Secondly, once that is done, then the necessary procurement processes has to be followed. So we'll go through that and we'll fix the roads.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam, Goriyiri.
Well, government has unveiled plans to phase out the appointment of head teachers based on the number of years one has spent in the educational sector. With the creation of a National Education Institute, according to the Ministry of Education, many school leaders sometimes have close to no training for that role. Their decision is to yield undesirable results, and to ensure that this is no longer the case, the ministry says it intends to set up the institute as a permanent institution dedicated to educational leadership training in the country.
Poor leadership and management, inefficient supervision, lack of accountability, and inadequate teacher training contribute to poor learning outcomes experienced in Ghana's schools.
Acting Chief Director of the Ministry of Education, Divine Ayijo, he reveals that in most cases, teachers who become leaders in educational institutions don't have the requisite training to efficiently handle the associated responsibilities, resulting in bad outcomes.
Many school leaders have not undergone professional preparation for their role beyond their years of experience teaching in the classroom, which impacts children's learning outcomes. The Ministry of Education intends to reform the quality and the pathways into school leadership, from basing the pathway to becoming a head teacher on years of service to enabling earlier career teachers who demonstrate quality teaching and learning and leadership talent to become head teachers sooner.
Mr. Ayijo says the Ministry of Education intends to change that with the introduction of the National Education Institute, which will be responsible for the continuous training of all who wish to become heads of institutions.
The Ministry of Education plans to set up a National Education Institute as a permanent institution dedicated to educational leadership training for the ministry to offer long-term, tailor-made leadership programs with certification for current and aspiring school heads and staff of agencies of the Ministry of Education.
Dr. Charles Yeboah, the Executive Director of the Association of Supervisors and Curriculum Development, says the program targets some 70,000 educational leaders and expects to train 25% of them by 2026.
So from the ministry, we know that about 70,000 people that will have to be trained over time, right? We are starting with, but by 2025, the ministry and the minister's vision is that by 2025, 25% of that number has gone through some training. We want to make it as practical and as impactful as possible, So we want to make it as impactful and practical as possible. So the whole idea is that by 2025, 25% of the 70,000 people being targeted across the country in various areas of education leadership have been reached.
Director General of the Institute for Educational Planning and Administration at the University of Cape Coast, Dr. Michael Boachi Yadom, cautioned that the project will only make an impact if it is sustained.
Sustainability. We must ensure that the program is sustainable. If the first few years are funded externally, for instance, we must have a financial sustainability plan so that if the funding expires in 2 years or in 3 years, for instance, then we don't throw away work done within that 2 or 3 years. So financial sustainability is important. In terms of legislation, we must have something in place that will ensure continuity. In terms of policy, we must have something in place to ensure continuity so that we don't waste resources, we don't spend resources on a particular program for 2-3 years and then come back and say government A or Minister B doesn't want us to continue and we should throw it away.
The ministry hopes to pilot the program come January 2023 with support from Jacobs Foundation and Big Win Philanthropy. For Joy News, Michael Ashale.
We can now go for Joy News editorial with Araba Kumsin.
Question: how much are you buying fried plantain and beans, or bread, or wache? The cost of these food items in most parts of the country has gone up astronomically, and it's almost impossible to get the size of portions for the amount of money that people used to pay for them, including me. And that is due largely to inflation. Inflation is at 31.7%. Oftentimes, when we talk about the depreciation of the cedi, particularly against the major trading currencies, we tend to focus more on the macroeconomics of it than the micro. But what we are losing sight of is that it eventually comes down to the individuals, the consumers, me and you. We have to bear the brunt of the effect of this depreciation that we were assured will be held in check.
$1, 1 cedi. In the time of Mills and Mahama, 2 cedis, $1. If I was them, I would say to the people of Ghana, I'm sorry. We are sorry for the poor work we have done. We're going to go and think about ourselves. But that is not the people we're dealing with. In Kufuor's time, one of the people who advised and helped him develop a strong cedi was my running mate, Muhammadu Bawumia. Then he was deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana. It's one of the reasons I brought him to come and join me, that we will work on the cedi and create again a strong cedi.
If you were wondering, that was in 2016. Dr. Bawumia had a thing or two to say about it too.
And engage in all the propaganda you want. But if the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. As the saying goes, when in doubt, observe the exchange rate.
That wasn't all. I mean, in fact, he had more to say.
Ghana cedi is currently in free fall and depreciating virtually on a daily basis. In fact, this is what you are seeing as a Midonyami exchange rate, because it is going all the way.
Yeah, the cedi has appreciated in value. When we came in, it was running. Essentially, we have arrested it. And the IGP has the keys. He's locked it up. We've arrested it.
Now, this is why it's so disheartening for a lot of people who had so much confidence in these economic messiahs to go through what they are being confronted with today. From 3.72 cedis in 2016, you now need 9 cedis to buy $1. It's why importers are angry. In order to keep their businesses running, they will need more cedis to buy more dollars. That explains why the cost of auto parts has increased. It's the reason why imported cooking oil for fried yam and kelewele It's pricier now. Because of the depreciation of the cedi, flour is now more expensive. Your bread costs higher because of this. Crude oil price has been falling in recent weeks. That accounts for the marginal downward reduction in fuel prices. Many of our neighboring countries are experiencing a significant drop. Ivory Coast sells petrol at $1.114. Burkina Faso sells petrol at $1.113. Togo sells petrol at $1.089. But Ghana is selling petrol at $1.354. One of the reasons why we're not seeing a significant drop is because our cedi is depreciating. The precarious situation of the cedi is not getting any better. Our currency is still ranked as the worst among African countries, with the worst spot returns, and could be heading for a record in the last 25 years, with it now being 9 cedis to $1. Which is why people keep coming back to you, Dr. Bawumia. You said businesses were hurting because of the depreciating cedi in 2015. Now it appears businesses are hurting even more than ever. Now the Ghana Union of Traders Association says their businesses are hurting. The Ghana National Chamber of Commerce also says the depreciating cedi is impacting businesses negatively. As if it couldn't get worse, Fitch has downgraded us from B- to CCC+. Standard & Poor's has also downgraded us with a negative economic outlook. Things are not looking up. Our economy is in a gloomy, depressed state. So why are all the things promised us when you were campaigning for power? People are losing patience. And it's not just ordinary Ghanaians. It's your party people too.
Is over 32%. You know, so we are in dangerous territory. And so therefore, the only major thing that the president can do to arrest the situation is to clear out the managers of the economy. And it's a fact. I mean, that is what is left for him to do. Because you can't let the same people who have driven us to this stage remain in office. Nobody is looking for Kenufriata's job.
So if people sympathetic to your party are speaking out like this, then you should know that the situation is indeed dire. Perhaps reaching out for varied input to get us all out of this hole that we continue to dig ourselves into deeper may be our starting point.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Ghana National Association of Teachers says it has become imperative for them to collaborate with the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit, DOVSU, to help educate some of its male members who are either impregnating or sexually abusing the students they are supposed to take care of. President of the association, Reverend Isaac, also says there have been increasing cases and reports of teachers either sexually molesting their students or impregnating them. Speaking in an interview with Joy News' Richard Kodriako, he appealed to the teachers to keep their relationship with their students strictly professional, bearing in mind that there would be consequences.
According to the Ghana National Association of Teachers, cases of teachers impregnating their school pupils and sexually molesting them are on the rise. President of NAT, Reverend Isaac Owusu, says such practices ought to stop so the girl child can realize her full potentials.
One, I am a parent myself. I also have a girl child, and I wouldn't be happy seeing a male teacher defiling my daughter. You see, the work we are doing is being governed by rules and regulations. And our code of ethics and code of conduct says that if you are a teacher, you are not to have any carnal affair with the students that you are teaching. But it is very unfortunate that these days you see and hear one or two teachers who are into those acts. And let me take this opportunity to humbly advise our members that if you think that that student or pupil, you can get her for free, if you are caught, the consequence is that you can go to prison for 25 years maximum and 7 years minimum.
The NAT president says the association is liaising with the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit of the Ghana Police Service to offer some education on the implications of such acts.
We used to have such program for our members. But looking at what is happening currently, I think we have to intensify that particular sensitization, because NAT has branches from the classroom to district to region to national, and so we could make good use of the structure that we have. And I believe that when we are able to collaborate with the Ghana Police Service, the DOSU department, and getting personnel to sensitize our members on this act and the consequences of it, I believe it will go a long way to help our members.
He further recommended that the Ghana Teacher Prize should rather start from the district where hard-working teachers who work in the country's hard-to-reach areas would be awarded, so it could motivate others to give up their best.
There are a lot of teachers. You see, there are hard-to-reach areas that even where you cannot get a cheap compound, cannot get a clinic, police post, you find a school there, where some teachers have to cross streams, rivers. Some have to walk about 2 or 3 kilometers before they can even get access to whatever they want. There are no social amenities in the community that they are working. So we have to look at the teacher price once again, because now gradually it is only at the national level that is being taking place. But gone are the days, at the district level we used to honor teachers, at the regional level we used to honor teachers. So I want to use this opportunity to appeal to the National Teaching Council to work in collaboration with the Ghana Education Service to make sure that we bring back the teacher price that was being done at the district, the regional level, so that we don't always look at the national level where we are giving somebody 3-bedroom, another person pick up.
Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejinyako, Cape Coast.
Well, the former rector of the Ghana Institute of Management and Administration, GIMPA, Professor Philip Bonsi Simpson, is asking government not to dissolve university councils after every national election. According to him, the university councils are a continuum, and dissolving them after a change in government creates a huge problem in the effective running of the university. He was speaking at the biennial conference of the Ghana University Administrators in Winneba, from where Richard Kujuyaku reports.
The former GIMPA boss wants government to stop appointing people for the mere fact that government needs to make appointments to the university councils. Professor Philippe Bobonze Simpson says many of the government appointees to the various councils have created problems and are still creating problems in the various university administrations. He rather wishes that such appointment may not even be done, so competent persons could be fallen on to help the universities function effectively and efficiently.
GAWA should endeavor to make a case for government to appoint chairpersons and nominees who are able to add value. There are a certain set of skills that will be required for every organization. Government should avoid appointing senior members or other staff at a university to its own council. Between the internal constituencies that the statute allows, there are sufficient internal people to communicate internal concerns to council. Nearly everywhere this has happened, at universities, technical universities, colleges of education, and the like, there have been major problems. Government should stop it. If you want to appoint Osimesi, still appoint Osimesi and send that person somewhere else. That person has still got the appointment. They will even get a travel allowance.
Professor Bonzi Simpson also called on government not to dissolve the university councils when there is a change in government. According to him, such practices continue to create problems for the universities and must be stopped.
There may be a formal act for government to show it recognizes them, but it's not government who is going to appoint or swear in a representative from GAWA if GAWA is supposed to be there, and from GRASAG if GRASAG is supposed to be there, and from convocation if convocation is supposed to be there. Government can change its chair and its members, but council continues. And until government does that, it should keep in place the people who are there. It may take a week or two or a month or two to do that, but council should not be dissolved. We have seen too many instances. Budget has not been considered and passed, appointments has not been made, congregations have not been held, and therefore people have not graduated to get their certificate and move on. Some instances, even in this interregnum, vice chancellors and management have done their own thing and problems have been created. Some vice chancellors have been investigated for things that they did in the absence of council. So it is our plea that council is a continuum and it should go to address litigation that has continued. A growing practice is for appeals board. A number of universities and technical universities have them so that we don't rush straight to court.
Immediate past president of Gawa, Kwabena Nkrumah, charged the incoming executives to work very hard to make their impact felt in the administration of public universities. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejenyakon, Winneba.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Director General of Senate, Dr. John Ofori-Tenkrane, says the prime interest of the trust is in the protection of workers, especially after retirement. He says this could be well achieved if employers honor their obligations to workers in the payment of their contributions without being chased. Speaking in Sunyani at Senate's annual regional engagement with the leadership of the Trades Union Congress on the benefits of the scheme to contributors, Dr. Ofori-Tenkrane also said workers should not underdeclare their salaries as it could impact negatively on them during retirement. Precious Semevo has more.
The regional engagement is aimed at equipping members of organized labor with relevant information about the insurance scheme and fostering a partnership with Senate in educating workers on the scheme's benefits and the need to efficiently plan for retirement. The Director General of Senate, Dr. John Ofori-Tenkrane, said the trust should be seen as an insurance company rather than an investment company, since they insure the incomes of workers, among other benefits. He, however, wants employers to complement their interest in life after the retirement of workers by promptly paying their contributions.
All that Senate is interested in is that the worker is protected. So we are not interested in taking any employer and sending them to jail. I have told my staff that the first thing they have to do is to go and engage their defaulting employer and explain to the employer what even his or her employees stand to gain from SNET. Once the employer gets to understand that, what we find out is that many of them, their eyes get opened and then they don't look at SNET as a tax. They are happy to contribute to the SNET because the SNET even provides a lot more better value than even some of these provident funds. But after this engagement, if they still don't hit the call, then we have no choice but to take them to the courts.
He advised workers against under-declaring their salary as it could impact their retirement life negatively.
Whenever somebody says 35 years, think 60%. Question is 60% of what? Some of these people, through either conniving with their employers or something, maybe even be making more. So it's like you are driving a Toyota RAV4 and then you come to SNET and you come and insure a Picanto. When you go to pension, you do not expect that the insurance company is going to replace your Picanto with a Toyota RAV4. So don't come and under-declare salaries to SNET because you think, for one reason or the other, you'll be better off. So SNET is a very good proposition for Ghanaian workers, and I think everybody should take it seriously and join this scheme.
Over 29,000 pensioners earn less than 500 cedis monthly, a situation the Deputy General Secretary of TUC, Joshua Ansan, said requires that they impress on the government for a better salary for an enhanced pension pay.
Engagement with such a higher institution, it gives you how they operate, why certain things are happening, and why and what to do to actually enhance what you are receiving or what you are paying. We have realized that it is time for us to sit with our employers, to sit with our government, to ensure that salaries in this country for workers must be enhanced. If it is enhanced, our contribution to SNIT will also be enhanced. Then at the end of the day, when you retire, you have an enhanced pensions. Anything short of that, you must forget about it.
The engagement was themed Understanding the Value Proposition of SNIT Scheme, the role of organized labor as partners in promoting the scheme among workers in Ghana. Precious Semevo, Joy Business, Sunyane.
120 students have been selected for the inaugural Partner Africa Project KNUST 2022 Summer Internship Program. Now, the 3-year project was funded by a German government agency through SEQUA. It seeks to bring students and professionals within the framework of the Special Initiative on Training and Job Creation.
Since June 2021, the Partner Africa Project KNUST project team has taken significant steps with partners ACOM and AGI to ensure economic sustainability in the Ghanaian industry. The internship phase saw over 400 applications, of which 120 were shortlisted. In the next 4 weeks, shortlisted students will go through a preparatory program to prepare them for their internships. The training program consists of 12 modules, which is a blend of technical sessions on environment sustainability, as well as skills to make students integrate effectively into industry. Principal investigator Professor Jerry John Ponyo is optimistic the project mutually affects both the students and industry.
The Partner Africa project has the specific objective that has been couched as follows. 1, we seek to strengthen the organizational structure and improve upon the service offer of the Association of Ghana Industries. Secondly, we want to be able to develop and implement further training and consultation services so that the various industries are cleaner and more efficient. The third but not the least, to develop practical and pilot projects in companies to implement good practices with the hope that they will be sustainable and efficient.
Provost of the College of Engineering, Professor Mark Adom Asamoah, advised the participants to uphold environmental sustainability and be submissive to drive the maximum benefits.
This initiative is long overdue and fits perfectly into the college's vision of bridging the gap between industry and academia and making our students ready for the job market.
Pro-Vice-Chancellor Professor Ellis Owusu-Dabo, who spoke on behalf of the Vice-Chancellor, assured the beneficiaries of the university's support during their internship period.
Feedback into developing working solutions for uptake by industry, and the benefit, guess what, is our country.
Regional Chairman of AGI Ashanti, Bono and Ahaf regions, was hopeful the collaboration would carve a succession plan for the industries.
We will collaborate fully with the school to make sure students that come out get the right training so they fit into the industries. So, immediately they come out of school.
That's all for Joy Newsroom. I am Fostina Sarfo. Do log on to myjoyonline.com for more news.